That is me. I'm Andy Chance-Hill. I'm the e-commerce director, and I am on top of the world. Yeah, it's roughly the same shape as well. And I'm really pleased to be here to be able to talk about OptiCommerce. It's the love of my life, obviously, working to death for the last 12 months, bringing this to fruition. So let me walk you through it. What is OptiCommerce? It is a powerful set of services created to allow independent opticians to harness the power of the web. It's a range of services which increase in functionality, starting with the initial foundation offering, which is the brochure site, or I tend to refer to it as the internet shop window. And the best analogy for that, the best way to describe that is, on the normal high street, there's a normal practice, bricks and mortar. There is a virtual high street where patients will browse, and there is a virtual practice, or you can have a virtual practice. That virtual practice has to have a shop window, so when people are browsing the web, their view of your practice or your virtual practice is the internet shop window. And that's what I mean by a brochure site, the absolute foundation of looking into that virtual practice. Through and the range of services increase in functionality, all the way through to the full e-commerce integration with the PMSs, both Acuitas and Focus 2. So, as I say, 30 minutes, I'll try and keep to the point. I'm going to run through what we considered a need in the market, why the product was required in the first place, the main aims for the services we've created, how we've actually built those services, how we've constructed them, a little view, a slice of each of the services, and a description of how they work and how they build functionality-wise, the content management system, or CMS people refer to it as, that underpins that functionality, and then obviously how we've linked it and why we've linked it into our PMS systems, Acuitas and Focus. So the need in the market. It is obvious, but I'm going to state it anyway. The practice longevity, it is underpinned by the number of new patients into the practice versus the number of patients that are gone away. And patients go away for obvious reasons. The demographics of those patients, some go away naturally, so others get attracted away, some get taken away by other people. All sorts of offers from corporations and on the web, they can drift. The Opti-commerce solution has been built specifically, one of the core aims is to bring new patients into the practice and to keep that practice longevity going. It also is becoming very standard nowadays for people to browse in the retail environment on the web. Whether they buy on the web or whether they have a quick look before they visit, it is becoming far a very common practice. And if people decide they don't want to offer that facility, then unfortunately their competitors will. Just one quick snippet I've taken from Mail Online. Web retailers see the fastest growing sales for 13 years, or roughly that. And that is literally, that's fresh from last week. Google forecast a significant increase in retail traffic, online retail traffic, over the next 3 years. And I know sometimes these forecasts can be overhyped, but we are seeing a significant increase, almost sort of an exponential growth on online retail. So from my perspective, I think it is time to take it seriously. If I was an independent optician, I would take it very seriously. We need to offer greater flexibility. Flexibility for the patients, additional services, allowing patients to choose their method of connection to the practice. Patients may want to phone, they may want to walk in, but they may want to access the web, access the services, communicate and interact with the practice in a different way. That additional flexibility is a requirement. In my opinion, it directly complements the existing service that an independent practice offers its patient. And independents are very proud, I know a lot of independent opticians are very proud of the service and the loyalty they gain from their patients. This is a direct complement to that. It doesn't contradict, it doesn't take anything away from the existing service that's offered. It's an additional level of service and flexibility. So again, that is required in the market. The OptiCommerce solution has been built specifically to help with that need. This is always controversial. Some people love him, some people hate him. If your business is not online, your business will be out of business, from Bill Gates. I know it's a bit soundbitey, but that's useful for presentations. He hasn't said what retail sector, and he hasn't said how long it'll take to go out of business. It might be actually the children who own the practice that go out of business, but I think everybody can potentially appreciate the sentiment from Bill there. So the main aims for our OptiCommerce solution is specifically to assist independent opticians. It is to help them combat the intrusion of the online-only providers. It will protect, or it helps protect, the independent practice's patient database, helps stop those patients drifting away for various reasons, being attracted by other people. It'll help stop that. It specifically supports the Ocuco client base, obviously our customer base, our business, and the independent opticians that are Ocuco customers. It is creating a level playing field for independent opticians who haven't got the sort of budget that some of the corporations have, but this is levelling the playing field. We've created something that will help them combat those big boys without requiring the same size purse. So the creation of the OptiCommerce platform, which was, as Leo said, it was not simple. It's taken a while to build. The feedback we got from independent opticians, especially, I mean, last year's user group, the ones that have tried to build e-commerce platforms and populate it with products, frames, constant content, found it extremely difficult to do. It took a long time to do. It was costly, and even when they got it there, it was difficult to maintain. Very tricky. And even when they had constructed it, it was operated separately from their practice management system. So even at its best, it was only going to operate as a separate cost centre, a separate business unit within the practice. The OptiCommerce solution, the framework itself, has taken over 5 years to build, and it's a creation of a set of tools that where an independent optician can create and very quickly deploy, or we can do it for them, a unique website. It has the unique branding that an independent optician needs. It doesn't want to look similar to an optician down the road who happens to have taken an OptiCommerce solution. It needs to look completely unique. But having said that, they don't want to spend months building a bespoke website. So it's a middle ground. And it's also a very cost-effective solution to be able to do that. And of course, we've integrated it into the PMSs, which I'm pretty sure is unique worldwide, as far as I can tell. A direct internet, cloud-based website, brochure site, fully integrated into the PMS with bi-directional, communication going backwards and forwards live. I think it's pretty unique. There are over 50 websites live or under construction, and I say they don't take long. The other point, there you go, to use my red dot. The other point is that they have to be accessible for mobile devices, iPads. When it first went live, I sat at the Dublin airport buying spectacles, contact lenses on the iPad. It has to, the tablet PC market is actually overtaking laptops. So of course the platform had to service that as well. That was an important element in the creation of OptiCommerce. Quickly take a look at the brochure site, the foundation. What I describe as the internet shop window is how you want to be represented on the virtual high street. Obviously that's probably the most configurable area to create that unique branding. That's probably one of the most configurable elements of the OptiCommerce services to service that configuration. So if we just take a couple of examples, now I've chosen this one because it's quite different. Even though each website looks quite unique, this one looks it's on the periphery, on the scale of design. So it's sort of a boutique-y style, not much in the way of medical information, ask the Optom, latest use of OCT, thinner lenses, all the normal things that opticians tend to put onto their websites, and they use either our content or build their own. That one, quite different, again, further down the other end of the scale. Now, you wouldn't look at those two and say, well, actually, those are obviously similar. They're obviously from the same stables, but they are quickly and easily, cost-effectively deployed from the same stable set of services. So once you've got your foundation, your brochure website, you may want to populate that window and show the sort of products that you have to offer for your patients. You can demonstrate to potential prospects and existing patients the range of styles and products that you have available. Sunglasses, accessories, prescription spectacles, contact lenses. It allows you to define your section in the market, your position in the marketplace. High, medium, low, financially. It's a very powerful additional service to a beautiful brochure website. And even if you don't allow your patients to buy online, and some don't, so some people don't want to do that, it helps drive the patients to store. Again, a lot of patients will look okay, is it worth the effort of travelling into that practice? We're looking at the Lindberghs, the particular frames. Yes, it is. I'm going to go in. So it will drive patients to store. You can actually exclude certain patient demographics. If you display a certain section of products, you can actually exclude people who, oh, that's not for me, or those look a little bit expensive or a little bit cheap. You can decide where you want to sit in that marketplace. But obviously the next logical thing is once you've shown the virtual browser, once you've shown the patient who's going across the internet your products, they may want to purchase. And I think the golden rule is if they want to buy, allow them to buy. If they want to come into store, allow them to come into store. Allowing the patients to buy there and then, you know, at 10:30 on a Sunday night, if they want to buy, take the sale. Don't allow them to sort of come in next Tuesday and visit the practice and potentially buy, take the sale there and then. So by doing that, you're servicing your patients, your local patients, and obviously because it's on the web, the wider community as well. It's not restricted geographically because it's internet-based. And in effect, the practice is now open 24/7. Rather than the doors closing, we're unavailable, it's 5:30, 24/7 access to the practice. People do actually shop. You know, 11 o'clock on a Sunday night, people do actually shop and buy items. To facilitate that, in this part of the solution, there's a shopping basket. It allows patients to, you know, normal shopping basket, add items in, review the prices, pop items out. They can replenish contact lenses, reorder those. There's a payment gateway. It's one of the best payment gateways, very secure, has all the normal elements, Visa, MasterCard, PayPal. So it allows the purchase to happen. You take the purchase, the cognitive dissonance has been sorted, they can relax, they bought it, and the payment is taken. And obviously communication goes backwards and forwards. The patient gets a full email of everything they bought. The practice gets an email to say somebody at 10:30 on a Sunday night has purchased, and the order then sits ready to be processed Monday morning. So I've talked a lot about it. It's probably best to show you it. Right, beautiful brochure site. A little bit different to the other ones. All the social media extensions, all the normal things you'd expect from a beautiful website. But if I want to buy online and I want to go and purchase Dior frames, for example, I'll pop in, have a look at the men's. There's different ways to view the frames depending on what sort of machine you're on, iPad, tablets. If I choose the grid and I choose a particular frame I'm interested in, I want more information. If I select that blackie, I can scroll around. I want to have a look at the different colours to see what's available. And once I've made a decision, I've got 3 purchasing options there. I can buy the frame only, I can buy and enter a prescription if I've got it scribbled on a piece of paper, or I've got it from the optician, or this is the powerful part, this is the really powerful part, I can get my prescription. Now in this instance, I happen to be a customer of Batty & Dexter. It's a long way to go for a site test, but well worth it. So I've already registered, so I'll log in to continue the purchase knowing that it's a connection to me. So once I log in, that's a live call on a Sunday night into the practice through the bricks and mortar, and it allows me to continue with a direct connection to the practice system. So all these lens options which are configurable, prices, lens options, coatings, and there you go, look, that's my prescription. You don't have to show the actual prescription, but I know now that it's me. I have that confidence. If you watch internet purchasing where people drop off, it's where they lose confidence in the purchasing process. If you ask them to enter complex things, PDs, or enter the prescription, they don't understand it. So that is a secure purchase. I'm happy with that. While I'm on, I'll buy some contact lenses. Now, just for example, I'll show that if I haven't got a contact lens prescription, I can actually still buy the products and enter the powers. I could have done this with the spectacles, I could have entered the RX. So if I pop the items in there, just to fill the basket, just to spend more money. They didn't actually deliver those, by the way. So that's it. I think I've done enough shop. Let me check. Basket, £458. Yes, I think I've spent enough. Possibly. Still a bargain, but I want to close the sale there and then. Let's check out. That obviously confirms this is me. It's a confident purchase. I'm happy with that. That's my details, that's my address. Leave it behind the garden gate, as long as the dog can't get it. That's me. Force them here as they check out. This is a forced element to sign the terms and conditions. Obviously that's very important. I mean, we can have tweaks to the terms and conditions. And we've made the purchase. If the concept of outsourcing your administration If you want a patient may want to check on the progress of his order. If he does, he can phone the practice. If he's round the corner, he can walk in, or he could log in and have a quick look at the progress of his order. You can update it as you process the order. He logs in, sees that. The only bit I cut out was the Visa payment because it had my credit card numbers in. I trust everybody's friends, but I thought I'd chop that bit out just in case. So even with me gabbing on as I do, that was quite a quick purchase. Spectacles, contact lenses, a payment accepting 3 or 4 minutes. And it's convenience, it's time and convenience, which is quite often why people will buy on the web. So to underpin those services, we have a content management system built by the experts in OptiCommerce over 5 years, specifically aimed at independent opticians. So not one of the standard content management systems, if you've ever come across one, the Magentos of the world. It's specifically tailored, so it's simple to use for opticians, but it's powerful enough for them to maintain the system. So using that content management system, which comes even with the base implementation, the brochure site, the optician can maintain the product catalogues, the graphics, the look and feel, the information they want to give to the patients. But it's a mix and match. It's a very flexible and powerful content management system, but depending on how much time the optician has, it's a mix and match on how much work they do. It can be managed by OptiCommerce, for example, a whole range of products where the manufacturers are discontinuing, adding new products. That can be maintained by OptiCommerce. The optician said, no, I don't have the time to do that, I'm not interested. I'll update the medical details from time to time. So you do this bit, I'll do that bit. So that mix and match is done through the content management system. And it had to be flexible because obviously there's a whole range of experience and time available from different opticians. Now, where it got quite complex to do, and the real power, I suppose, is the PMS integration into both Acuitas and Focus 2. New patients, new prospects who surf the web find the practice. Obviously, the website itself has got good search engine optimization, so you're going to be found easier. When the patients find you and it's a new prospect, when they add or register themselves to the web, they become new patients within the practice. Now they sit in a holding area because obviously we're not so naive that we'd allow patients to just keep being created inside the PMS. So they're put into a holding area where in practice they can be reviewed. Daffy Duck, for example, will never manage to, it's an unfortunate name for him, but he always fails to get an appointment. Because whenever he books an appointment, they assume it's not valid and they reject him, so he's a very upset individual. But most people, where it looks like a valid name, you accept it, the appointment's valid and that flows through. But once you've made that connection, obviously you can retrieve current patient prescriptions. Once you've made that, the web, talking to the bricks and mortar PMS, information can flow backwards and forwards depending on what we want to do, depending on how much power we want to give to that web patient. For both contact lenses, spectacles, it allows confident purchasing, reordering. Reordering contact lenses is, I mean, I've got dailies in at the moment and I'm terrible for it, I always forget. So reordering contact lenses when the practice is closed is a common requirement. So it is a very powerful addition to what is a beautiful existing website, brochure site, great in its own right, but this is a significantly powerful addition to it. And in essence, what you're doing, you're extending with an OptiCommerce installation, you're extending the practice virtually, both geographically and chronologically. You're allowing patients to get 24/7 access to the services and products. What services and products you decide they can get access is down to the independent optician, but that ability, patients appreciate it. There's no downside to it at all, they really do. It's possibly one of the most powerful services, depending on how you view it. Some people don't like the idea of patients booking directly into their practice. Some love the idea and as we speak, are getting new patients regularly, booking new appointments through the web diary. So it's a very powerful addition. And in essence, what it's doing is taking the practice diary, again, and opening it up to patients. But not just willy-nilly, not just saying everybody can view my diary, everybody can get access to it. You know, we're under strict controls. But the ability for a patient to book an appointment 24/7 is a very, very powerful one. This is just my opinion, when you start, when you send a recall for a sight test or a contact lens assessment to a patient, you're initiating a process which some could view as a sales process. I know it's not purely to get a sale, but it is a process where you've reminded a patient that they need a sight test. If they get home and they suddenly realise, yes, I need a site test, but they can't book one, that sale, that process is open-ended. They are then vulnerable to other areas, other people, other corporations to attract them, to actually see offers on the web, to see offers through the shop window. So you've reminded them they need to do it, and you haven't allowed them to complete the process, which some people could consider dangerous. If they can complete the process there and then, log on, make an appointment, that's it. In their mind, that process is closed, that they're less susceptible to those external offers. I truly believe that. I've seen it before. When they log on, they can choose which practice they want to go to. They can choose a specific optometrist to book into. And as I say, inside the practice management system, we've built a lot of strict controls so that the opticians expose just the parts of the web diary they want to see. I suppose, example, Monday morning. First thing Monday morning. Because 9 out of 10 appointments will be crack on. 1 out of 10 may need adjusting. But the benefit is the patient has booked an appointment. They don't think they need to go and book it again. If they've got it wrong, it gives the practice time to actually phone the patient and say, look, you're 75 years old with a wooden leg and you've got diabetes, blah, blah, really you should have booked a longer appointment. Don't worry, I'll move you. But of course, if it's 9 o'clock Monday morning and it's a brand new patient that they haven't seen before, it's great you're bringing a brand new patient into the practice, but you haven't got time to review that. So a lot of our opticians that have got the web diary have closed off Monday morning. They've said they've blocked that out. So they decide which bits of the diary they want exposed to the web, particular clinics, particular times. All those controls are built into both Focus 2 and Acuitas, which makes it configurable. So it's to match the diary processes, to follow those processes. And again, I've been going on for far too long. I think a demo is in order. Our friends again at Batty and Dexter in Liverpool. This is me. I'm still logged in, so this is still myself. There's more than one place to book an appointment on the web, so which is important. You don't want just one little icon. Beautiful display geographically of which one I want to visit. So relative to where I am at the moment, I think I fancy number A, so letter A, Aintree. So when I select Aintree, that's a live connection. It goes to Aintree and it asks for which optoms are available, give me the details. So it's a live, instant connection to the practice. I choose Dr. Ryan sometime in the week commencing the 14th. What it does, it makes a live connection to the practice there and then. So it says, okay, give me the slots available now. Now, if you imagine during the day, if it's a multi-channel, you've got members of the staff booking appointments, first come, first served. That's the only way to do it. So the appointments that are visible literally are up to date to the millisecond. When you actually choose an appointment, and I'm going to choose Dr. Ryan, I knew that already. Week commencing the 14th, that will give me the available slots as at that specific time. It displays them for the web patient. The web patient may then go for a cup of tea, come back, oh, there's appointments, I'll book it now, too late, it's already gone. So obviously it does a live check, so when I decide I want Wednesday morning, it does another live check to make sure the appointment. So it's almost, in essence, the same sort of functionality as a call centre, where you can book at the same time. Pre-examination questions, which we change depending on what people want, that comes across with, we don't want to make them too complex, we don't want a long list of detailed medical questions, but at least the superficial ones that would dramatically affect the time of the appointment, those are important. There you go, and I've booked the exam. In this instance, it was successful. And to be fair, I knew it would be. I've seen this before. So that's taken that slot. What we want to do in the new version, which we're working on, is do some additional filtering. So even outside the practice, filter certain appointment slots that are perhaps too small, depending on what questions. So the text and the answer, question 1, question 2, question 3, mean slots of 30 minutes aren't available. That sort of, but it's a compromise between the complexity and expertise that the person in the practice would have and the great general public who can't take that level of question. So it's sort of intermediary. So it will still only be a 9.5 out of 10 accuracy for booking. I don't think you'd ever. So that's a lovely confirmation screen. Obviously I get an appointment, the practice get an appointment, and the appointment is made. Unless it's a brand new patient, the appointment is made, because obviously you need to know, as far as I'm concerned, I've sorted my diary out. It's, say, 10 o'clock on a Sunday night. I look at my calendar for next week. Brilliant, right? No need to mess around, no need to get a call back. And I think Leo mentioned the great Specsavers of the world. They don't have that. And they're not going to get it either. On the Specsavers website, all you get is request an appointment. So it's still open. They've got to phone me when I'm at work. I've got to remember to phone them, the whole process. That's booked. I can now sort my day out, know that I'm going to pop into the opticians at 10 o'clock. There's a merge facility, so when the new patient comes in, if you search it, you say merge that patient with that patient, it will merge all the records, so it creates a single patient. And at that point, that patient is then known to the web. Next time they log in, all the facilities they can perform, replenishment, prescription loading, is for the true patient. But that merging process has to be a little bit manual. It's inside the practice because it's a human being that has to say, well, actually that patient that's on the web, the way he's written his name and address, is this patient. Trying to make the computer do that fuzzy logic match is not viable at the moment. So you make a decision. It's a human being making a decision to say, actually, it's a very similar name, but I'm going to create a new patient, or actually it is actually the same patient from looking at it. And then they might even phone up. You might even phone the patient just to double check if you're absolutely sure. Then you press the merge, becomes one patient. I'm going to summarise. Opti-commerce. Does it give a competitive advantage? Yes, it gives a significant competitive advantage. Online retailers, the sort of ones I mentioned before, don't have PMS integration. Other competitors also don't have PMS integration. And when I say PMS integration, what I mean is obviously the ability to pull in patient details and leverage that relationship the independent optician has with his patient. So obviously patient details fly backwards and forwards, address, delivery details, specifics, fitting details, prescriptions, contact lenses, spectacles. It's a significant enhancement to the relationship the independent has with their patient. So from my perspective, and I might be slightly biased, it does seem logical that PMS integration is definitely the way to go. And there's a few of our growing friends and a small community that, actually that's just a sample of it, it is a growing community that completely agree, and those are Opti-commerce clients. And if I take this one specifically, Hod, Barnes and Dickens, the measurement, some of the measurement can be done through our linking with Google Analytics, so you can see who's visiting your website, but obviously some of the information has to be retained as they come in, because some won't mention it. And as they come in, if you ask them and you build up the information, which they have, they're taking at least 20 new customers attending their practice after viewing them on the web each month. And what they believe and their analysis has proven up to date is over £1,600 in new sales specifically attributed to their new website. So as a break-even point, since they bought the system, it took about 4 or 5 months to get to break even. Significant investment, but now they're in profit. I know all examples won't be, but that is a specific example. There'll be better, there'll be worse. So I thought people would appreciate at least a real-life example of that. I want to thank you for attending my presentation, and I hope that you agree that, from my perspective, Opti-commerce is a significant step in helping independent opticians harness the power of the web.